1.1, evaluate expressions. All right, so a couple things about this, some definitions. We have a variable, and some of this is going to be review. Chapter 1 a lot of times is review in math books, so just be aware of that. But this is a letter used to represent one or more numbers. Algebraic expressions. Or also sometimes they're called variable expressions, are expressions that include at least one variable. Also, sometimes I use abbreviations for things and I forget that like people don't know what my abbreviations are. So if I ever write something and you're like, what does that mean? Just stop me and ask, because that happens a lot. An example of this, of an algebraic expression, would be like 3x minus 2. We also have some exponent stuff in this section. So a power is an expression that represents repeated multiplication of the same factor and I'll show you an example of like these three terms I'm getting ready to write in just a second. We also have the base and an exponent, which I'm just gonna, those are easier to show you with an example. Some of you are not taking notes and stuff, and I'm just gonna tell you that in this class you need to be taking notes.
Wait, we're supposed to be taking notes?
I'm teaching, aren't I?
I thought we were supposed to just read the book while you rate it.
No.
You don't like her.
Hey, do you have no paper right now? What? Where's your paper right about that, please?
So if I have something like 5 to the third, then that is the same thing as saying 5 times 5 times 5. Okay, so the base is the number that's being raised to the power, or to the exponent. The little number up top is your exponent. And this whole thing right here is the power.
Can you move like the screen a little bit down so we can see the variable?
All right, now from the stuff with exponents, we can do things like area and volume. Okay, so if I had the area of a cube, or I guess I should say area of a square, then we take that and let's say I have this little square here. Then each side is the same length, right, all the way around. And so if I want to find the area, I do side times side, or we can also write that as side squared. Okay, and that would be equal to area for a square. Now if I have volume of a cube, if I have a cube, right, all the sides and the height of it is all the same size. And so the volume of a cube is side cubed, which is equal to volume. So I'm going to do a couple examples out of the guided practice, and then I'm going to stop there for today. Tomorrow we'll pick up and actually do some like homework examples from there. So the first one, say to evaluate the expression when y equals 2. So that means I'm going to plug in 2 for y anywhere I have that. And so the first one is going to be 6y. So I'm going to plug in 2 for y, which will give me 6 times 2. And I always use parentheses when I'm plugging something in for a variable. That way if there's a negative sign or something, it doesn't get confusing. So 6 times 2 is what?
12.
12.
16.
So again, y is going to stay 2 for these next couple of problems. 8 divided by y. So I would do 8 divided by 2, which is what? 4. Three. I've got y plus 4. So I'm plugging in 2 for y. So 2 plus 4 is 6. And if I had 11 minus y, that's going to give me 11 minus 2, which is 9. These next ones, I'm not going to do exactly as the instructions say, but we're going to do it. It says to write the power in words, which we're not going to do, and as a product. So we're going to say write the power as a product. So number... I skipped one. This is number 6. I have 9 raised to the 5th power. So the main reason I'm not having you write it out in words is because I'm saying exactly what you'd be writing, so there's no point in you like writing it down. But that would be 9 to the 5th power. So what does that mean? Like mathematically, what do I need to do?
9 times 9 times 9 times 9 times 9.
Yep. So 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 times 9. I'm gonna skip another one. 8. I have n raised to the 4th power. So this time, instead of it being a number raised to a power, I have a variable raised to a power. What does that mean?
N times n times n times n.
Yep. So it's just whatever it is raised to that power, it's just how many times you write it down and it's multiplied. All right, evaluating the expression. So these ones say they're all different. So number 9, x cubed when x is equal to 8. So that means I'm combining the two things that we've just done. I am plugging in the number, and then I'm going to evaluate it as a power of 3, but I am actually going to get out the one singular number at the end. So this is going to be 8 cubed, which means 8 times 8 times 8. What is 8 times 8? 64. So that would be 64 times 8. Does anybody know that off the top of their head?
I don't know.
60 what times 8? 64 times
512.
512. Okay, if you don't know it, you can always stack it up like this and do it. Okay, and get it that way. But it is 512.
Yeah, it's 500.
Because you won't have a calculator for basic stuff like this. So you will just have to multiply it out. Maybe this year I'll get better at quick math again. I used to be so good at quick math, and then I became so reliant on a calculator that for other things that I just am bad at quick math now. 10 k squared when k is equal to 2.5. So I'm going to have 2.5 squared, which is going to be 2.5 times 2.5. So I'm going to review this more so because it's probably been a while since you've done this, but you stack them up to multiply them like this. Okay, then you multiply 5 times 5 is 25, carry the 2, 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12.
6.25.
Yes.
Put the 0 in. 2 times 5 is 10, carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And so then when you add these things together, you get 625. However, there's 2 decimal places here that I have to deal with, so I need to move this decimal that's imaginary sitting over here over 2 spots, and that's going to give me 6.25 as my answer for that one. All right. 11. I have d raised to the 4th when d is equal to 1/3. So with this one, I have 1/3, and I like to put it in parentheses when I have a fraction so that I make sure that I know that the entire thing is being raised to the power so that there's no confusion. So if you remember exponent rules from pre-algebra, hopefully you know that when you have a fraction and a power, the power goes on the top and on the bottom, and so this would be 1 to the 4th over 3 to the 4th. What is 1 to the 4th?
1.
1. And then 3 to the 4th. Anybody know that one?
3, 9, 27, 81.
81. So yeah, so I do that a lot. I'll just be like 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times another 3 is 81. And so the answer to this one would be 1 over 81. Any questions on this? All right. Then that is where we're going to stop for today because the bell's about to ring. We will pick up this section tomorrow, and you will have time to work on the problems in class.